Hello everyone, this is TJ, and I know I said that the next video I'll probably have a song parody about Monica Chunk, excuse me, but we're still working on that and we're coming pretty close. We have the lyrics, I keep updating them, because I'm trying to make it more clean, because I want to make sure a certain someone doesn't try to call certain someone. But I don't think that'll make it any safer than the previous video, but anyway. Yep, this is my black leather jacket slash hoodie. $40. And this is my day off. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy genocide of Native Americans. I mean, when the happy Pilgrims and Native Americans coming together. That was not grammatically correct. Tomorrow, I have to go back to work at my favorite job. And it was so busy yesterday, we got raped. And I think there may have been a couple of thefts, excuse me, under my nose. And instead of Stoutmeister's favorite mug, his famous mug, I'm having prescription beer. Doctor's orders. Anyway, this video is on Monica Chunk again, and to the satanic slayer, the troll posing as her father. Yes, I'm gonna make another video picking at her. This one is her recent video called Answer That, where she explains why she needs welfare checks and why she can't get a job, which was uploaded a little bit over 8 months after her famous video. 2/3 of a year. And so far I could find 21 points, and her 22nd point, which by coincidence, or as morons of the internet would say, irony, is her final question. We'll get to that later. Number one, we don't know her life. We don't know your life, Monica. You're right, we don't. But I'm going to tell you something. Colonel Snodgrass, Lieutenant Colonel Snodgrass, my former Air Force Junior RTC instructor, told me, we all have a story. Number two, it's hard for you to move. And that's because of your weight and the fact that you got hit by a car, which made it hard for you to, makes it hard for you to stand. Well, what about that treadmill you were doing? Yeah, that kind of suggests that you were trying to get some exercise. I mean, unless the video you made was satirical because it has comedy. The category is comedy. You keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means. And most of the people you said don't have pictures of themselves. Excuse me. They don't have videos of themselves. People who judge you. Are we judging you? Or are we pointing out the bullshit that you do? And you know what? I have plenty of videos of myself. They're not all good. But I have videos of myself. I write about this kind of shit all the time. And you say you have ADHD and schizophrenia, but you took medication for your schizophrenia, not your ADHD. Okay, you should be getting some kind of treatment for that. I'm not saying you aren't, but if you aren't, you should get treatment for that. I have a friend online on DeviantArt who told me that she has ADHD. I'm not sure if it was that or ADD. And she said that it would be a lot easier if she got some kind of service to get medication for it. But you know what? She has a job. My mother told me that if you have ADHD, you can't get fat because you're always moving, but you already refuted that by saying that you took a pill for your schizophrenia called Depakote that made you gain weight, and that can happen. From what I heard, that kind of thing can happen. For those of you who are schizophrenic, take it from her. Don't take Depakote. And you say, just because you're big and you have a mental disorder doesn't mean you're not beautiful. Well, it's not that you're not unbeautiful because you're fat. And I never thought you had a mental disorder. I thought you took remedial classes. You probably did, and then you dropped out. You're not beautiful because the way your weight, hair, and piercings combination are not complementary. They don't complement each other, and they don't complement you. If you want to look that way, that's fine. Be true to yourself, but your looks have little to do with our rants. It's just something we pick at on the side. Your weight especially, since, that whole cliche, fat people on welfare, even though you don't have to be fat to be on welfare, and you don't have to be on welfare to be fat. My stepmother has a job. She works hard, and, she works hard being, taking care of my little brother in Palm Coast. She works hard getting involved in his education, his Boy Scouts, and she kept tending to, oh my goodness, she was under a lot of stress. And she was big. One of my coworkers is 16, and, he's pretty big. But, he's a very good worker. He's helped me out quite a bit. Thank you, Robert. Anyway, and you say just because you can't exercise doesn't mean you're abusing the system. That's where he gets back to the fat thing. We don't think you're on welfare because you're fat, and we don't think you're abusing it because you're fat. We think you're abusing it because, well, in your first video, you did not explain to us that you needed it. You said you'll never get a job, and throughout the whole video, you said it in a way that suggested that it was merely from choice, not because of your disorder. And I heard that you had many videos. Oh my goodness, I keep pausing. You have many videos where you brag about getting it. Free money. You're one of the lucky ones. Well, you had plenty of opportunity to explain to us that you actually needed it and explain why you needed it. But you didn't take that. And you can't say, well, I don't have to explain myself, because you picked now to do so because you were bullied a lot, and the next day, I checked the dates on the videos, the next day, after that video you made a video of yourself calling the police. So, you were obviously that upset, and you could have prevented all that had you have explained it in the first video that you need a job. Not you refuse to get a job. So whatever credibility you could have had, you've lost it all. I remember having this I remember my friend thinking that he was in a relationship. because, she said that she had a crush on him. We all thought so since they were flirting a lot. And when I asked about it, she blocked me. And even though she accused him of sending me after her, especially after he asked her why she blocked me, she didn't tell him her side of the story. She waited until, through another account, I asked her why she blocked me. All I did was say, "Why'd you block him?" I understand. It's okay because I don't like him either. I did not stalk her. I did not ask prying questions. I just asked simple questions. And I asked her friend why'd she hack her account, and I called her a coward for threatening me through her friends and mine because of a journal I had that didn't even mention her name. But that's irrelevant. The point is, if you take your sweet time to explain that you have a good reason, no one's going to believe you. So there was no point in making that video. Especially when you're nearly, especially when you're 1/3 shy of a year. You waited that long to explain it? Really? Okay, this is part 1. I'll see you in part 2. Hello everyone, this is part 2. Sorry, I got a bit carried away on the first part. But anyway, I think I covered a good portion of it. Anyway, to the next part. She says she's been judged, Monica Punk. She's been judged by many people that she needs help, like with welfare and whatnot. Okay, well, she needs help, for sure. And, she's been judged by many people, in the system and on YouTube. I already said it. That she needs it. And that the people in welfare felt that, people in Social Security felt that she needs it. Well, there's just one thing wrong with that, Monica. These people are not accurate at telling the difference between who needs it and who isn't. My mother had food stamps for a while, but they wouldn't cover me because of some stupid legal technicality, even though I qualified as a dependent on your tax forms, under the age of 24, full-time college student, living with her. They said that I wasn't independent because I didn't work 20 hours a week. Even though that's just their scam. That if I did get a job, they would cut her off for sure. And they didn't. They cut her off because they looked at her income before taxes, which makes a huge difference. And they wouldn't count her car insurance. And you know what the funny thing is? In this state, most people don't have car insurance. And now we have a program that does not count car insurance, but it counts cable as part of your bills. Florida. But yeah, the system is not very accurate in deciding who needs it and who doesn't. And I have a hard time believing that you are not committing welfare fraud, because in your videos you had plenty of opportunity to explain that you actually need it, but the way you came off demonstrates that you're a fraud. And you made that video to get pity. Well, I am known for my sympathy, but I have no sympathy for you whatsoever. I cannot trust you after you made that video. And no sane mind, no intelligent person would believe you because you have broken credibility. If you take your sweet time to give your alibi to the police, they won't trust you in the future. Yes, you don't have to explain it, but you're choosing now to explain it, and we've seen how much it bothers you. And if this kind of ridicule bothers you to the point where you decide to explain now to try to get pity from your viewers, you could have spared yourself a lot more ridicule. Maybe not all the ridicule, but you could have spared yourself a lot of ridicule if you had explained why you need it. Anyway. And you said you got hit by a car. I already pointed that out. It makes it harder to stand. How bad is it? You never explained how bad it was. Is it permanent? Or how able were you to run on that treadmill in that one video? I only saw it briefly, but you know, you said you were going to try to lose weight that way. If you actually tried, well, at least you tried. But you know, your videos kind of contradict this one. But this might be because I don't watch all your videos, but can you blame me? Can you blame me? Anyway. And you say you have restless leg syndrome. I would say that that's not a real disease and that the cure for it is to get up and walk, but you said it's hard to stand up, it's hard to move. So I guess it might be you can't walk. And you say you would love to sit still. I believe you. And you say you thought about committing suicide, but you won't because your mother and your father would be devastated. On an unrelated subject, I got your comment from your father. And I saw your reply, assuming it was you and assuming it was really your father. And, cheers to you both. Wrong cup, but, you know. Of course they'd be devastated. No good parent would not be devastated. And no good mother would not be stressed and be in tears to the point that, where they will lose an unhealthy amount of weight because you were in the mental hospital nearly 100 times. 97, over 97 you said? So what, 98, 99, 100? Did you keep count? Was it 98 to 99 times? Well, yeah, I mean, any good parent would miss their child that much and be that stressed. And if your disorder is as bad as you say, you should have been using that money to get help. Instead, I'm hearing that you are on a spending spree. And while I heard that you tried to take pills for your schizophrenia, why not get treatment for your ADHD too? Maybe then you could read an entire book. You'll learn something. You say some people want to be big and small, and then it's unhealthy to be big and really small. Yeah, but that's where we find an equilibrium. Too much carbs is bad, but no carbs is also bad. And, you know, you also say that you were nearly in a mental hospital nearly 100 times. And that's your explanation of how you're not frauding the system. Well, okay, you're not. But I have a hard time believing all this. Who knows, maybe you actually faked your mental illness so that you get free food in the home and whatever. Who knows? And you know, you say because of all that, you could not keep a job. Well, your video didn't say why you can't keep a job, why you can't have a job. You say why you'll never get a job, and that it's your choice. You said it. It's your choice. We can't force you. And you said your friend lost a job for calling out too much. Well, I have a coworker who keeps asking me to come in to leave early because she doesn't feel so good. That's called a liability, by the way, management. And yet this person complains about how they're hiring more people. There are people in my store who actually fake illnesses, try to get out, not do their job, neglect their duties. When my sciatica was inflamed, if I had a job at that time, I would have been fired. Anyway, you say you went to rehab 5 times for drugs like crack and ecstasy. Okay, what are you using ecstasy for? Isn't that to make you horny? Or are you using it on someone else? I don't know if you were on drugs or not, but you know, you said that you were good at basketball, you were into it, but you got lazier and lazier, probably lost your skills because of marijuana. Why do I have a feeling that it was because of abuse and lack of discipline? Because that'll do that. I don't think it's necessarily marijuana that makes you stop. I think it's the discipline. I think it's a disciplinary issue. Oh, and you said that your drugs for schizophrenia gave you a heart problem. So, like, you know, made it jump. I forget what it was called, but, you know, it made you jump and it was trying to catch up with itself. Is that supposed to generate more sympathy? I don't know what to say. Try to find more reliable drugs. That's what I'd say. Well, before we end the video, you had one question, and this one I'm going to do my best to answer. If you had a daughter who was in the hospital more than 97 times of her fucking life, you would want her to struggle and get a job, knowing that she could probably end back up in the hospital for 2 weeks and lose her job? You'd want her to struggle? Answer that. And this is a quote. That's a good question. I would not want my daughter to struggle. I would want what was best for her. And sitting on the couch, trying to live off the system, which has an expiration date, by the way, would not be best for her. Personally, I would want her to get treatment so that she can cope with whatever it is that's sending her to the mental hospital so much. But if it's 97 times, if it's really over 97 times, my daughter should probably go into a group home. I don't want to say that I want to send her to a group home, but, you know, if this person is obviously having issues functioning in the real world, excuse me, going to the hospital nearly 100 times, I don't know what to do. I know that I won't be able to take care of her forever. I don't think it would be best if she went from generation to generation. It would either be that or a group home or, I don't know. If you're saying that, you know, if you're saying that you're a lost cause, we had a feeling. And if you really are having these issues, I'm sorry, but you already broke credibility. And it sounds like even if you didn't have all those problems, you'd do all that anyway. So that's the end of this video. Here's my toast to you and the toast to Black Friday. Uh-oh, I'm out. I need a refill.